There will be no wiggling at all. In God they trust. But which God? Like I said, for those that's entertaining, trying to wiggle out of this with some perpetual hatred stunts and all that other stuff, you playing with a God who knows all. What I was showing you on this image here is right here. This is understood if you look real close at that image right there. I'm gonna try to get in on that. That image is of a black man hanging. That's a lynching. Excuse me. He's in some kind of scaffold like or whatever apparatus that get him suspended up there. And that's a rope. Suspended from the roof top there. It's a black man, an image of a black man. People want to say that I showed this to him. They so much attached to this world they can't believe the evil that's been perpetuated against us. They even said these were bushes. Whenever you're known in a state like the White House to not have manicured bushes, those are crowds of people cheering. So I'm going to get into, like I said, as far as those entertaining, trying to find some way to keep this world as Esau, Edom is actually doing. You heard Trump and even Obama. By the way, Obama's not one of us. He's not with us. Obama is a Hamite. From the three sons of Noah, Japheth being the Asians, Ham being the Africans, Hamites, Shem being Shemitic people. Esau is the twin of Jacob, which is a white man that was born in the womb as his brother. You're going to find out about this in Obadiah. As I show it to you, you can open your book to it. It's going to play out word for word. Trump and his cohort, Obama, you all want to believe it's left against right and all that other stuff. These all parties concluded to keep us hidden. They all spoke about this new world order, and even Trump talking about starting a fifth branch of military and space weapons out there in space. Well, what they're trying to do is put weaponry out there to kill the God, the creator of all. To keep this world the way it is, because currently they're God. They were placed over us for our forefathers' sins and us in this conditions over us. They were placed. Once they saw the curses actually playing out, they thought they could play God. So that's when you see them doing all the things they do. They creating things. They trying to be like God. That is Satan. Same way, small example. The Most High created everything on this earth for us to have. All fruits have seeds. They've genetically created meats, fruits, farm, produce, everything. This is where cancer comes into your body, because you're eating things that are created by man, which is sin, not by the Creator. They perpetuate evil and hatred. The medical system, the insurance and everything, they deny you health, but they make you sick. So, like I said, going into, you're witnessing their evil, right? You're witnessing their evil. For you that's trying to wiggle out of this and don't want to bless Israel, like they're giving you a fabrication of blessing Israel right now. They're trying to lock down Confederate statues and all this other stuff. They're trying to keep those who sleep, who don't know who they are, pacified and following and keeping them elevated as gods. As long as you're getting a stimulus check or something of that nature, you ain't gonna be curious to know why you're living below them all the time. As long as you get a Cadillac with some 26s, that nigga's cool. That Mexican is cool. They want you below them. You have something greater. They don't want you to know that. So, for you to think that there's different levels to evil, no, they're all going in the same, on the same rack, in the same level. So, look at what your evil is doing.
Here in the United States, really, it's going to be Black people who really should get it first, and many Indigenous people, as well as people with underlying symptoms, and then elderly people. They're the ones who all deserve to get that vaccine first.
Animal testing is a must for any vaccine before it's put to public use. Researchers at Chongqing University in Shanghai are using these healthy mice to test some of the latest vaccine samples against the novel coronavirus.
The mouse testing is just a preliminary screening for candidate vaccines. After searching through effective antibodies against the virus, the candidate vaccine will continue onto a toxicology test, which will need larger animals, such as monkeys. Here in the United States, really, it's going to be Black people who really should get it first, and many Indigenous people, as well as people with underlying symptoms, and then elderly people. They're the ones who all deserve to get that vaccine first.
Welcome to the 2020 census. This video will introduce you to the 2020 census. Now we will take you on a quick tour of the internet questionnaire. Step-by-step instructions will be provided later in the video. When you visit my2020census.gov, you will log in using the census ID from the materials that were mailed to you or left at your door. We will ask you to confirm your address and provide your name and phone number. Next, we will ask you to count how many people will be living or staying at this address on April 1st, 2020, and list the name of each person who will be living or staying at your address. We will also remind you to include people that might have been missed. We will ask whether the home is owned or rented, and who owns or rents the home. We will ask each person about their sex, date of birth and age, Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin, and race.
Melinda, I've heard you talk about disaggregating data. So tell us why that's important and how that can help bring solutions to the right population.
Yeah, so we have to have disaggregated data. Otherwise, we wouldn't know who's being disproportionately affected with this virus. And it helps us understand where to apply resources. And so we are just in the process with our many disease modeling organizations that we work with, trying to get that data from the states. Not all states have it and have it in a way that we can use it. But if we can use that data, then we know to say, okay, this is where we need to make sure we apply the resources. And quite honestly, apply the vaccine first. The testing, the therapeutic when it becomes available, and the vaccine.
And again, we did the research in New York City because that's where we have the predominance of cases, but it is going to be true in every community across this state and across this nation. You tell me the zip codes that have the predominantly minority community, lower income community, I will tell you the communities where you're going to have a higher positive, and you're going to have increased spread, and you're going to have increased hospitalization. I'm asking all local governments to do the same thing that we did in New York City. Focus on low income communities. Do the testing.
David, you're an investigative reporter for the Washington Post.
Hear that again.
Of some big corporation that used government money, do you think I could stand here?
You heard it.
Will be living or staying at this address on April 1st, 2020, and list the name of each person who will be living or staying at your address. We will also remind you to include people that might have been missed. We will ask whether the home is owned or rented, and who owns or rents the home. We will ask each person about their sex, date of birth and age, Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin, and race.
Melinda, I've heard you talk about disaggregating data. So tell us why that's important and how that can help bring solutions to the right population.
Yeah, so we have to have disaggregated data. Otherwise, we wouldn't know who's being disproportionately affected with this virus. And it helps us understand where to apply resources. And so we are just in the process with our many disease modeling organizations that we work with, trying to get that data from the states. Not all states have it and have it in a way that we can use it. But if we can use that data, then we know to say, okay, this is where we need to make sure we apply the resources. And quite honestly, apply the vaccine first. The testing, the therapeutic when it becomes available, and the vaccine.
And again, we did the research in New York City because that's where we have the predominance of cases, but it is going to be true in every community across this state and across this nation. You tell me the zip codes that have the predominantly minority community, lower income community, I will tell you the communities where you're going to have a higher positive, and you're going to have increased spread, and you're going to have increased hospitalization. I'm asking all local governments to do the same thing that we did in New York City. Focus on low income communities. Do the testing.
David, you're an investigative reporter for the Washington Post. This is particularly disturbing because I think when many people think about the CDC, it's kind of like the gold standard when it comes to research and advice on diseases. So first off, just tell us exactly what the cross-contamination was, what the misstep was, and the effect.
Yes, good morning. Good to be with you. The the getting reliable tests out to the hospitals and clinicians, to the public health labs around this country was delayed. And the big unanswered question was, what was the cause of the original delay? And what we've reported is that there was a violation of sound manufacturing practices at the CDC in Atlanta that resulted in contamination of the COVID-19 test kits. And those kits then went out to public health laboratories around the country, and false positive results immediately showed up in those laboratories. Those results were reported back to the CDC, and the CDC took quite a long time to get on top of what was causing the problem and to remove the component of the test kit in which the false positive results had repeatedly emerged.
And race.
Here in the United States, really, it's going to be black people. If we can use that data, then we know to say, okay, this is where we need to make sure we apply the resources, and quite honestly, apply the vaccine first. The testing, the therapeutic when it becomes available, and the vaccine. Those are going to be the hot spots and where you're going to want to go to help affect the most change for this country. And I have to say, it is why you've seen Bill and I be a bit critical of the current U.S. government, just because if we were doing testing today, our only tools today are social distancing, masks, and testing. And so if we had been doing testing in the right national way, we could be more in the shape that Germany's in, where you test and you do contact tracing.
And those kits then went out to public health laboratories around the country, and false positive results immediately showed up.
That is going to be really, really important and continue to be important through the fall when we see this next big wave of this epidemic coming through.
Great. Another essential pillar of our strategy to keep America open is the development of effective treatments and vaccines as quickly as possible. I want to see if we can do that very quickly. We're looking to, when I say quickly, we're looking to get it by the end of the year if we can. Today I want to update you on the next stage of this momentous medical initiative. It's called Operation Warp Speed. That means big and it means fast. A massive scientific, industrial, and logistical endeavor unlike anything our country has seen since the Manhattan Project. You really could say that nobody's seen anything like we're doing, whether it's ventilators or testing. Nobody's seen anything like we're doing now within our country since the Second World War. Incredible. Its objective is to finish developing and then to manufacture and distribute a proven coronavirus vaccine as fast as possible. Again, we'd love to see if we could do it prior to the end of the year. We think we're going to have some very good results coming out very quickly. In addition,
that is going to be really, really important and continue to be important through the fall when we see this next big wave of this epidemic.
What we heard from you guys is the second wave is a when, not an if. And with that in mind, all right, so President Trump,
And tonight the president faces new scrutiny on several fronts, including a tweet that appears...
And it's the whole thing about it. These people are trying to eliminate us, God's people. And for you out there that's entertaining and aligning yourself with the ignorance, the excuses, and even thinking the possibilities, maybe this can be pulled off. We've done as America, we've done so much and evolving and creation and everything. Maybe we can defeat God. You can't defeat Iran on earth. The deity, the God, the all presence around you, why everything exists, the creator. You willing to align yourself with this idiot? Your best option is to, once you see this, to start sharing it with your family and members and everything, because there won't be too many more Christmas. They're trying to get it. They're Jim Jones in us right now. The black Latino people, they did a job on the Native Indians, the tribe of Gad. They're trying to do us like Jim Jones right now. They know they can't have the party keep going on, so what they must do is keep poisoning everybody. And this is all done by the Most High himself, because he's allowing our people that don't want to wake, they're stuck on stupid in this world, want to put a Band-Aid on Babylon, America. He's going to have them align themselves. There's so many ways of what he got going on for destruction of this place. It's not going to be, there's nothing that you can do to fix it. All you can do is acknowledge who his people are and who is the God of all. It isn't Jesus. Jesus hasn't created or destroyed anything around you. They gave us Jesus entity as a God to throw us off and have us in ignorance, because our forefathers broke the commandments, the laws that were given to us as a people. One of those commandments is to have no strange gods before you. And like I say, if these Jewish people are supposed to be God's people, why are they praising whatever they're praising in a synagogue?
Obadiah.
for those Edomites, Gentiles entertaining, trying to dodge the bullet that we couldn't do. You've witnessed us not dodge bullets with your brethren on our brethren's neck. So the story of Jacob and Esau, you can look into it and look it up. It's about two brothers, twins born in the womb. One was white, Esau, the white man, and the other was Jacob, the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel, where the Hispanics, the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Native Indians, the Jamaicans, all the brown people that you have done so much wrong to come from, the children of Israel. So this is what the Most High God has got lined up for you next. This is the Obadiah. We'll open your book up. This is word for word if you want to play and gamble with the Most High God of Israel.
Obadiah. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen.
Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, Who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Timon, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou wast as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it.
And that's key for understanding that you need to have. When it says, behold. It don't get no deeper for understanding. Behold. Meaning, this is final. This is going down. In other words, the pay attention to as you read and start to figure out what's going on in this world. This is why all what you see and going on, people been saying 2020's been crap, it's going down. It's just like in Egypt. There's going to be those who perish, many of us. He said only a remnant will make it. Because a lot of people are going to be wanting to be in the way and hang on to this understanding. But like he said, behold. And when you hear the word as you read those words, thus saith the Lord, it's final. That ass is that ass. It's good as done. So, I don't know what they got in the works right now as far as what's next for America. I mean, they're full steam ahead because they know their ass is in the blender. The elites, you peons, you little Edomites that's been just living off the spoils and everything. If you fear anything, you love what you have as far as a family and everything, you want to try to find a way to get out of the way, like ASAP. We already know, us that's woke, we already operating out here, you know. The vengeance is the Lord. You don't have to fear us. However, you're going to respect God's people. I'm not trusting any of you Edomites at this level of the game, because we are going to witness something in our lifetime. And why I say that is because of this. Let me get it for you. Let me get it for you. Why I don't trust right now. You ain't faking the funk with me. Let me show you why. 1 second, I'll pull this up. And before I pull it up, let me let you understand what it is. Even the innocent of you can be amongst us, but you have a remnant. You're not stupid, but you've witnessed what Nick Cannon said. You've heard other people speak on these subjects, and you privately sat back knowing that they were almost waking to who you really are. You want us to stay in this certain state, and I'm going to show you the state that you're comfortable with us being in. That's a dangerous game to play somebody for stupid when you in their house, they stolen some merchandise in your pocket. Let me get to it. Watch this.
They should be scrutinized and probably in a lot of situations criticized. But those aren't the ones you hear about. You hear about the Rothschilds. So when you hear about the Rothschilds in this setting, yeah, it is a trigger, essentially.
So I totally understand. And I talked to like 8 of my Jewish peoples yesterday. Chris was one of them. And every single one of them explained to me why what Nick said was anti-Semitic, in different variations of the same way. And it basically was, to the root of it is those were just like the 2 talking points that have been used to persecute Jewish people for years. So,
Yeah, the other thing was the Semite, they said like black people were the original Semitic people. And
I'm going to tell you something. Can I tell you something? Can I admit something right now?
Yeah, go.
I have no idea what Semitic means.
Bro.
I'm talking about zero. As a matter of fact, I'm going to look it up right now.
I'm with you. I had to learn last night. I called my boy Dove. You met Dove. And and I was like, explain what was going on in here. And he's like, it's a semantic argument, right? So Semite, or the Semitic people, refers to the people that speak Semitic languages. I believe that's Hebrew, Aramaic. These are any like the old biblical languages. Is that right, Chris?
Right. It would basically refer to the peoples of, like, I think you call it the Levant. It would be modern day Lebanon,
Chris is a Jewish guy on the phone, knowing that this Negro don't know who he is because he's under the curses, and they're trying to say Semitic means a language of biblical linkage. Semitic is not even a word. The word is Shemitic, seeds of Shem. That guy on the phone is playing this Negro who's cursed for stupid. This is why we can't trust you.
Jordan,
Israel, Palestine,
Israel,
that
area.
Right? So, but here's the thing. So the people from that region are the Semitic people. Now, I think that he was saying that I believe that he was saying Ashkenazi Jews were not the Semitic people because they're not originally, allegedly from that region, right?
Who said that?
I think Nick was alluding to that.
Oh, okay.
Right? So he was like, they're trying to be Semitic like us. But I think that they would give pushback and say, hey, the original Semitic people were not black or white. They were Arab looking because that's where it started. So,
and in the dictionary it says Semitic relating to or denoting a family of languages that include Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic, and certain ancient languages such as Phoenician and Akkadian, constituting the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic family.
Right.
So
just the regions that spoke that language.
Continent of Africa. Jerusalem, where we came from, is on the continent of Africa, the northeast tip of Africa. From Jerusalem, we fled into Africa amongst the other dark nations, the Hamites, the Africans, who sold us into captivity. We hid amongst them because we have dark melanated skin. Hamites, Africans, you can look at Manute, you can look at Obama. A full-blooded African, or even mixed ones, let me take that back. Understanding of this. Hamites can't grow facial hair, beards, dreadlocks, afros, goatees. Now, Akon and the comedian Michael Blackson, they have goatees. They could be mixed with them. We still have people in the land. They didn't take all of us out of the continent of Africa. So we could be very, very well be still there mixed amongst them. But an African, Obama was used by this government to give you a trinket, to keep you lost, confused, and thinking you're almost about to be accepted by the eagle as an American, a patriot. You can fly your flag in your yard now. Despite you done fought several world wars and other wars against Ishmael, the Arabs, who are not Shemitic. They are the older brother of our forefather, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Isaac had an older brother, Ishmael, who they took the Quran and formed it out of the Torah, which is the Old Testament. The Quran is nothing but the Old Testament. They just added in their own God, Allah, the same way the heathens took the New Testament, formed that, and created Jesus into a God. This is what religion is, the creation of lesser gods based around our laws and commandments given to a special people. Anything of the New Testament that can't be supported by the Old Testament, that's how you know they wrote it in. So, in a nutshell, this is what's going on. This is why we can't trust you. And then again, let me show you another one. Got to keep this fan going when I can, but I'm not going to stop on the gas with this. They're poisoning you. You peon Edomites, catching a case of this corona, you're casualties of war. This is all done and deliberate to eliminate us as Israel. So if you lost an auntie, a mother, a child, a cousin, this was all done in the sake of keeping this kingdom. You're nothing. They need to be gods. They're creating all kind of things. If you look at the movie Get Out, they're talking about how they were trying to take black people and put their their brains inside a black being's body. They're doing all these kind of creations. You don't know what they're doing over in Area 54. We got over 20, 30,000 missing black young people. It's not even in the media. People are being taken. They're doing all kind of things to create because they want to be like God. We've been preyed on. So once again, let me get into showing why we don't trust you. Look at our people as we sit around you.
$49 can get you to breathtaking views and moments.
And sincerely are showing you that our people are lost and is just as confused as you. Identifying our plights as yours, trying to equate LBGQ, GT, whatever that letters are, as our same struggle. Now listen to this. Look how they play us for stupid, right in our face. And Whoopi gets no brownie points. You know, she didn't. We here at the Negro delegation, we trade her up. We'll take Eminem. Look at this.
It all comes down to, I feel, people's actual ignorance about history, because, you know, I don't feel like you can run around and say, respect me if I'm not respecting you. Now, you can have your opinions about folks, but you can't start on people because of their religion, just like people shouldn't be starting on us for our color. I don't understand what's going on. I'm not sure if it's just, oh, I didn't know, I don't know history. If you don't know history, don't say anything until you figure it out. I don't understand. I mean, am I crazy? And Sonny, does Viacom, CBS have legal grounds to fire him here?
Well, I don't know what his
seems like
contract
two
looks
different
like,
questions.
but yeah, I don't know what his contract looks like, but certainly, generally you do have grounds to fire someone for bigotry and discrimination. But I will say this, you know, I'm always surprised when you hear, especially someone that's African American, spout anti-Semitism, because there is such a long history, and Whoopi, you know this, of, well, we all know this, of, you know, Jewish people in the civil rights movement being such allies to African Americans, and the notion that anyone that's African American has that blind spot when it comes to the allyship with Jews is kind of shocking to me. I've never had that blind spot, and maybe it's because my mother's father is Jewish. I don't know, but I don't think that you have.
No, it's your programming. You've been catfished. When I first heard that definition of catfish, those creators of that show, he went into telling what catfish meant and where it came from. They used to catch salmon like in Alaska, and then they would have to transport it on big barges to, let's say, Seattle. Well, about time they got to Seattle, 3/4 of the fish had died. They were stressed out. Someone found out if they put catfish inside these barrels, these tanks with these salmon, it would keep them calm. For some reason with catfish, this did it for them. They would be pacified enough to make it to their place of origin to be sold, slaughtered, and sold. That's what catfish is. We've been catfished. What you just heard Whoopi and the other mixed black Jewish woman say is she can't relate to what's going on. So let's continue. Let's let the Jewish woman speak, shall we?
Have to be a member of an oppressed group to be an ally and to have empathy for another member of an oppressed group. I mean, I'm not gay, but I will always stand with my LGBTQ brothers and sisters.
I'm sorry I gotta interrupt this. This, like I say, this awakening, this part of it is what makes me mad. Because none of these people you claiming to have brotherhood with homosexuals, queers, whatever these initials mean, and Jewish people. Where have they been since y'all been marching since the 40s, 50s, 30s, 60s? Man, This frustration is going out to my people who still closet Conan. Let's continue. Let's let the Jewish woman speak next.
I don't quite understand someone that, again, would be a member of an oppressed group and would spout anything that would be anti-Semitic or homophobic or racist. It doesn't connect with me, and I'm disappointed when I hear something like that from Nick Cannon or something like that from Deshaun Jackson. I think it's unacceptable, and I think that
What you gonna think when God lets you understand this is His doing and His power, a display of? You gonna disagree? You gonna take this application upon Him on your interview? You want this on your resume?
But held accountable for it. Anyone,
what's your
of course,
thoughts on
when it comes from someone like that.
Yeah. Megan, your thoughts on his firing?
Look, I'm not a big cancel culture person. We've been talking about this, which feels like months, but I will say what's interesting to me, and I actually retweeted a tweet from the actor Josh Malina a few days ago where he said, why can you be canceled for anything except anti-Semitism? Because there does seem to be this blind spot, especially in the case of Deshaun Jackson, who put several extremely anti-Semitic posts up on his Instagram, including saying that Jews have a plan for world domination. And he was really met with sort of like a slap on the wrist by his NFL and his teammates. Like there's been very little backlash in the way that you would see in this moment of like hypersensitivity and reassessment of how we are as a culture in many different ways. So I'm happy that there is actually a reaction and outrage to Nick Cannon's blatant anti-Semitism. Look, we've been talking about this on the show for years now, but anti-Semitism is on the rise in this country. Per the New York City Police, in 2019, hate crimes are up 26%, despite the fact that crime overall in the city was down low. According to the IJC, 84% of Jews surveyed think that anti-Semitism is on the rise in the past 5 years. And I would just like to see more culpability for anti-Semitism in general. There's a lot of people and a lot of media figures, and
they keep injecting y'all with this sentiment. I can't even say it no more. Semitic word. There's no such thing as it. Noah had 3 sons. Shem. If you ain't recognized the Most High is sending you signs to wake you up out of your ignorance for what God you praise, for what understanding you have as a programming. Botham John in Dallas that was killed by Amber Geiger, his middle name was Shem. A sacrifice, a sign. They put this story on the news. His brother gets up in court praising a lesser God, Jesus, holding a Bible, praying for Esau Edom's daughter to be forgiven after his brother was killed. My people, Esau, you got homework with Obadiah. You're out the way. I'm talking to my people right now. You better wake up. You didn't serve the sentence of Deuteronomy 28. There's no Savior coming, no Jesus. He's a real person, but he's not a God, he's not a Savior. Understand this now. You didn't did the sentence like doing a crime. You did the time. You can't get bond the day before or the week before to get out of jail. You did the time. There's no Savior. There's no bond. They gave you that to praise a lesser God. Give it to you. Same way you're not supposed to praise Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob, our other forefathers. It doesn't matter if he was black. If you let them argue that he was white. It doesn't matter. He's not your Savior. What matters is what's coming down the pipe next. They're up. You ain't already been on your cruise. Do you want to go on another cruise? Better look for that palace on the hill. That's what's next. Let them take their ride. They ain't never stood in the way as a people, as a nation, to stop your pain. Like I've said in previous videos. They came together to stop Michael Vick from killing dogs as a people. They love their pets. They can't keep white officers from killing our people. Sandra Bland, the woman in Texas who was shot playing video games with her nephew, They got 1,000,001 excuses, alternative facts. Pick one. Let them take their trip. They're up. Their plane has landed. With that, I'm going to continue. I got to get set up for my Sabbath. Find out who you are. Find out about the laws and the commandments. This goes for all 12 tribes of Israel. And that's what we ignorantly call nationalities. If you don't know by now, this is your time to do your homework. While you're doing that assignment, they need to be over in the corner practicing time out. All praise to the Most High. I am. Shalom, Israel.